Good evening again. So I'm going to crack on with the motor mount. It's basically just 1mm plywood, and there's just little lugs to clip away, so I'll just crack on with that and you guys can watch. Thank you again for joining me. I wanted to keep the tension on the rigging wire while it dried down in the bottom corners of the undercarriage, and the easiest way I found of doing that is just put a couple of little magnets dangling on the end of the string. That will keep the tension on the wire. If I want to increase the tension, I just stick another bit of magnet on. I'll angle you down. Okay, here we go. Got that part there, that part there, and that. Okay, put a little bit of CA on there, and then I'll just run some aliphatic in afterwards. Take out the rest of the pieces. Now the rest of the bits are the cowling support brackets and then the little clips that hold it into W1. So I'll start with the big piece. Now you've got, the hooks are quite delicate, so John gives you a couple of spares which you may or may not need, so be careful with them. Try to grip the whole thing when you're sanding it, don't just grip the little handle. Right, I'm going to decide which is the front. I think I'll make that the front. One goes like that, the other one goes on the opposite side. I'm holding it in for the minute, and then the whole lot, just when you take the cowl on and off, it's just a little, like half, well, not even a half turn, fraction of a turn. Try and make sure they're exactly 90 degrees to the face of W2. So that's what you end up with, two opposite facing hooks. Now I'm going to just offer up into F1 just to make sure it turns freely before I fit the cowling supports. Just a little twist and it comes off, a little twist and it locks. I've got to put the magnet in the top shortly, but there's a little trick with the magnet which you must be careful of observing, but it does tell you in the instructions anyway. So that's the hooks. Now put in the cowling support brackets. Right, that's nearly there. All I have to do now is to fit the magnet. So what is this trick? Well, the trick is, if you put the magnet in back to front, it's not going to stick. When you put the cowl on, it'll repel. So make absolutely sure that the magnet is the correct way round by sticking it into the magnet that's already fitted on there. Just by using a very small amount of CA, because I don't want it to bleed through to the other side. So now I know that magnet is the right way around. Although the magnet is glued in, we retain it with a sticker. I like to get the number up right. I haven't licked this one because it's not essential to get it perfect. So what do we got? We've got the magnet in, sticker on the back, magnet on the front, CA'd in, brackets CA'd in. So now we fix the bulkhead to the engine mount, which just goes in the 4 slots in the back like that. And I'm going to stick that in with CA. And that's it. So there it is. That's the motor mount assembly complete. This is fun. I've got the rotary engine to make and the motor to mount in its sub-assembly D19 times 2 and the plastic part. So D19 2021. Keep all the bags sealed up. It's very easy to lose little tiny pieces. The brass tube goes through the middle of the two Depron pieces. I'm just making sure it goes through now before I line it all up. Just make sure it goes through like that, and you glue the two bits of Depron together, and the plastic part is sandwiched between the two. At the same time, you want to make sure the brass tube is sticking out 90 degrees to the plastic part, so not like that, but like that. I'm just going to put some glue around and then spread it down each cylinder, the Depron to stick on, lining up the centre hole, just popping the brass tube in to make sure it, yep, the hole's lining up. So that's stage one complete. One step to that. I'm just going to turn it over. Depron are centred on the thing, some are, some aren't. It's because you've got a straw that slides over each one. Decide which is the back. I suggest you go for the front being the printed side of the plastic with the dummy valves on the top, and the inside of the plastic can be the back facing the aeroplane. So I'm just going to leave a little bit sticking out the back. Say about a millimetre, I guess. Plastic is very, very, well, it's not even that. I'll sit it on, get the hole lined up with the brass tube so it doesn't poke through, and I can look at it from all angles and judge. I think it just wants to go slightly over to one side. That looks good. So there we are. I'm going to set that off to one side, and it can set by morning now. Put that over there. There's a little missing instruction on the rotary engine. On the Spruce Z20, there's two Z20s, octagonal shaped pieces of the Depron. They're printed silver. They should be drawn in here, and they look like this. You stick one at the front, one at the back, so it looks like that. Okay, stick it all in one go actually, so, but I still like to leave a little tiny bit sticking out. Z20, don't forget to stick it on the all with that operation there really, so you'll have 5 bits, not just 3, and then the brass tube goes right through the middle. What I thought I'd have a quick go, only got a couple of minutes, is sticking S36 on the motor. That's a little fiddly bit. So what you're aiming to get is just sticking it around the front of Z20, so it ends up with a nice silver finish. Just ease it in round as we go. Okay, the stickers have gone down quite nicely, so let's do the other side. I'll start with the short one. Will it come off the blade? Gotta force it off. Tell you what I'm going to do, I'm going to put down the next one, then go back, pull that one off. Pulling that off a little bit just to get it to go in there a bit better. It's a good idea to try and get it flush with the front edge. It saves having to trim little bits off, and it's a little bit too much ruckled around the inside of the cylinders. It's all going to be covered up by the actual cylinder covers anyway. Cylinder covers is a posh name for straws, by the way. Anything you need to build these models is a little bit of patience and enjoy doing it as well. There we are, that's done it. So I've wrapped around the cylinders, silver all the way. Next stage is let's just test it as well. Nearly. There you go. Next stage is the cylinders. The cylinders are made with straw, 4mm, and all these little stickers here. First job, clear the slot for the valve gear. Second job, lift the tabs. Okay. Lastly, okay. Yeah, okay. Take the straw with the nice cut edge, and we're going to just lay that over the top, just there, like that. Yep. Just going to make sure that's peeled back enough to allow the little wings to go down. Just going to move that across like that. Stick the big one down, stick the little one down, and stick that little one down. Roll it around, roll it around. Make sure it's all stuck down nicely. Another one done. Cut it off clean. Pop it on, squeeze it down. Don't worry about squeezing it too much because it does expand back up again. Poke the cylinder all the way down, lining up the valve gear. And there we have it, one 9-cylinder motor. Let's test it, see if it runs. Oh, didn't start. That's better. Look at that, beautiful. Let's go around, make sure everything's sticking nicely. Next step, we've got plastic piece to go on, front and back, P22, P22. Put a bit of glue on, it will spread out, so not too worried about it coming right to the edges. Yeah, just see it popping out slightly, squeezing out. Valve, what is it? That would be the exhaust pipes to each cylinder lined up about there. I think that'll be about right. Before I stick the back on, I'm going to just actually see that that's okay. That should just sit in there just the same. I'll do one each side and it'll kind of like hold it on a bit. It's a perfect fit. That one goes in there like that. That one there goes in there. Can't be many more to do. This one there. There we are. That looks better. So now that faces the front when you look at it up inside the cowl, and it'll all look very nice. And just show you the back view. You just clip in the top, and then the last item on there is just putting on that rear. There we are. So we'll try the engine, see if it works. Yep, rotary engine. You'll notice with all the extra thicknesses on now, that's absolutely flush on the back, and I left about what, millimetre sticking out. So there's the extra layer of Depron and 2 layers of plastic. So the next little job, let's get the engine out. This one's like that, and it goes through there and into the 4 holes which have been provided for us. It sticks through a bit there and a bit there. Get that run down, which rather sportingly is a battery on the top. Okay, I can turn the page. The next step is to cut the cowling out. I'll just offer up the motor though. There we are. It sits on there and spins merrily away. So it's so designed as to just miss the right hand cowl support. And this doesn't fix to the shaft as the motor spins, so the motor can spin freely on the shaft, but the shaft going around is enough to make it spin. Could go through there again, couldn't it? There we are. So you can give a good old pull, because you'll be pulling that in and out possibly to put the battery in, so it stops tugging on the motor. So there we are, there it is. Could offer it onto the aircraft, see how it's looking. Goes on there, little half turn. Look at that. Superb. Okay, cowling. Cowling comes as a vacuum formed part. Now I usually spend a good half hour cutting it out, fettling it and playing around, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay guys, that'll do for now. I'm going to stop here. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you want to be informed of when the next video is. And I'm going to put the computer on now. And I'll wish you good evening, and until the next video, thanks for looking in.